So if you ever thought that leaving a review of a product or a service has little impact or value, think again. Customer reviews accounted for 40 million rand in e-commerce spend this year, according to the South African Customer Experience Report. Its authors are calling it a review revolution. So let's find out more with Charlie Stewart, the CEO of Roger Wilco. Good evening, Charlie, and welcome. I think twice before buying a holiday or going to a restaurant. And, in my own experience, rely quite significantly on what other people have said, especially if their reviews seem to be fair. How influential are reviews in your view?
I think that it's really, really important for people to do their due diligence, Bongiwe, and to check out reviews. We're all living in this online world right now, and it's incredibly easy for us to sense check what other people have felt about experiences or products that they're going to buy. We've been conducting this piece of research, the South African Customer Experience Report, for the last 5 years. And each year we've seen an uptick in the number of people who are either using reviews, reading reviews online or on social media before they make a purchase. But I think this year we saw a really big tick up in the number of people who are paying it forward and are actually posting reviews about their own experiences. We extrapolated and we looked at the total value of e-commerce in South Africa this year, which is set to be around about 60 billion rand. And 67% of people say that they look at reviews on websites before they go ahead and make a purchase. So just a sheer, play on the numbers indicates that around about 40 billion rands worth of e-commerce spend is influenced by reviews. It's a staggering amount of money. And so it just reinforces the significance of people looking at going and doing their research before they make a big purchase, particularly in these hardened economic times that we live.
Charlie, we are like family on this program, so it's easy to mistake one for the other. I'm Iman you're speaking to tonight.
Sorry,
let's go to, and thanks for sharing the direct commercial impact to a business of a good or bad review, because perhaps a lot of companies, don't get it, that they need to pay attention. I don't know if your study or your report covered the response by companies or how they would typically respond to, taking reviews seriously and changing some of the areas that their clients or potential clients, are worried about and wanting.
Yeah, we didn't look at that specifically in terms of the empirical data, but we've got a lot of anecdotal evidence that gives us insight as to how organizations respond. I think by and large, most credible businesses take reviews very seriously. For starters, they will try to encourage people who bought a product or service from them to contribute a review. And I think we're all used to that. We all see, we buy from an e-commerce store, and it's not unusual for the e-commerce store to follow up a day or two later with a message, an email or a WhatsApp asking us if we'll leave a review. But we're also seeing, I think, an increasing level of response to both positive and negative reviews. Gone are the days when you'd post a negative review and it would be ignored. So I think that speaks to the corporate recognition that reviews are really important to them. However, the caveat to all of this is that in this study where we interviewed 2,000 consumers and then supplemented that with interviews with around about 50 senior business practitioners, we found that business was more interested in acquiring new customers than it was in retaining existing customers. And that, to me, speaks to a huge challenge that we have. It's very difficult for businesses to place a value on the long-term customer value over a 2 or 3 year period of locking that customer into a repeat buying chain. It's much easier for them to make the simple math of this is how much my advert cost, this is how much it cost me to bring that new customer into the ecosystem. And as a consequence of that, I think that although businesses are getting it right on the one hand, they're losing sight of what really matters on the other hand.
So what are some of the most influential review platforms in South Africa?
I think it starts with reviews on corporate websites themselves. So, pick, a big e-commerce website, you're looking at a product, you're going to go and look at the reviews underneath it. Those reviews are typically reviews that are placed by consumers who are neither positive nor negative. You then have a look at platforms like, Hello Peter is a very good example. It's a platform where people typically go to complain. They've had bad experiences. The overwhelming weighting of the reviews on a platform like Hello Peter is typically negative. And so while it serves an incredibly good purpose in exposing us to potential fraudulent platforms and poor service delivery, I would suggest that it's taken with a little bit of a pinch of salt, because as I say, you normally go there when you've had a bad experience. But increasingly, we're seeing that corporates are aggregating reviews. So a fashion retailer that sells a globally branded product might start pulling in reviews from customers in other parts of the world, so they're not entirely relevant to the local ecosystem or to the customers who's purchased from that store in a South African location.
It's so fascinating how review data is used, beyond what it was intended to be used for, and that's an interesting space to be in. Thank you very much for sharing with us your findings. That was Charlie Stewart, CEO of Roger Wilco, talking to us about the impact and power of reviews.